Thank you all for joining us today. I know we all lead busy lives, especially being in travel, and your time is valuable. So, really, from all of us here at Europe Express, thank you for joining us. Please note we are recording this webinar for educational purposes. After the presentation, we will add the recording to the Europe Express website located under the Resources tab in the header. So, if you do have a client walk in or get a phone call, don't worry, you can always rewatch this presentation at a later time. Also, if you have any questions anytime throughout the presentation, please type it in the GoToWebinar module and we will answer it at the end. If we do run out of time, don't worry, we'll send a follow-up email with the webinar recording and any answers to the questions that you may have. Without further ado, I'd like to hand off the mic to Rebecca Gonzer, our South Central Sales Manager. How are you doing, Rebecca?
Hey, Danielle, I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you. I'm excited to learn about heritage travel.
Wonderful. Well, I will just kick it off. So thank you, everybody. And as Danielle says, we know that your time is valuable. So welcome to our webinar on heritage travel. So our name says it all. We specialize in planning and booking extraordinary European vacations. What you'll see on your screen are the 22 countries that 82% of Americans choose for their leisure vacations, and we can book trips to all of them. Since 1990, we've worked exclusively with travel advisors to create completely customizable European itineraries for both FIT and group travel. Our team here is comprised of knowledgeable, passionate, and well-traveled reservation specialists. They have either lived, worked, or studied, and sometimes all three, in countries throughout Europe, so they know our destinations and products inside and out. All of our itineraries are completely customizable, and when your clients are traveling, our DMC in Barcelona office is there in the same time zone to assist. We understand that every itinerary is different, and we approach each one with the same care and dedication. Our customizable FIT itineraries are fully commissionable, and you can book online with live inventory, or you can call our reservation experts 7 days a week. That's right, 7 days a week. Some of our services can also be booked individually. What separates us from other suppliers is the ability to book multi-city and multi-country vacations. We also have that exceptional in-destination support in the form of our Barcelona office. Because this team is located in your client's time zone, they are perfectly poised to help your clients resolve any issues as soon as they arise, and you won't get an emergency wake-up call at 2 a.m. We also offer unique, customized itineraries for groups of 10 or more adults traveling together. We've got the resources to handle all the logistics of your group vacations, from leisure and themed trips to school programs and pre- and post stays. Each group has a designated team responsible for booking, confirming, and communicating all aspects of the trip. And please note, groups can be quoted at net or with commission. So what specifically can you book through us? Everything. We have air, hotels, sightseeing, transfers, car rentals, rail, and travel insurance. So who are heritage travelers? It's fair to say the most common ancestry travelers are in their 50s and up. Many are empty nesters or parents who want to introduce their children and grandchildren to the villages in which they were born or spent their childhood. In fact, it's not uncommon to see several generations on a single trip. It's a way for grandparents to help connect the younger generation to the past, introducing them to the food, music, language, and religious traditions of their own childhood. But that doesn't mean older Americans are the only ones booking heritage trips. We've seen younger couples, singles, and those simply looking to learn more about their adopted culture taking part in these journeys. The digital component of genealogy searches has made these trips more popular among millennials as well. It's the type of thematic travel that can appeal to, well, almost anyone. Oh, I apologize here. Sorry about that. Maybe you identify as Italian because of the meatballs your Nonna used to make for Sunday supper, or as German because of the lullabies your Oma used to sing to you when you were little, but how much do we really know about these places our ancestors once called home? Fueled by television shows like Who Do You Think You Are, wherein celebrities trace their lineage overseas, interest in our genealogy has exploded. In a recent poll by Ancestry.com, 4 out of 5 Americans reported a strong desire to better understand their heritage. People are discovering that it's important to know where they're from in order to know where they're going. So before we begin, I'd like to share a short interview we did with one of our reservation specialists, Jill, who went on her own Ancestry trip 2 years ago. Jill has been with Europe Express for over 7 years, and from these comments, you'll see her passion for travel come through. We first asked her why she chose a heritage trip. She stated, "I started doing genealogy research in 2016. It was fascinating. Googling ancestors, finding out who they were and what jobs they held. It's like putting together the puzzle pieces of your past, trying to visualize your personal history." We then asked her how this trip is different from others she's taken in the past. She said, "I felt connected, looking at paintings and seeing my grandmother's face in the faces of my ancestors before her, looking out over the castle walls, wondering if my ancestors were calmed by the views as I was." So who are heritage travelers? It's fair to say the most common ancestry travelers. Oh, I apologize, guys. I got my notes out of order here. So where are they going? If you're wondering where in the world people go to trace their lineages, just think of all the places we come from. Of course, some countries are more common among North Americans than others. These include England, Ireland, Scotland, Germany, Poland, Hungary. What does heritage travel entail? Depending on how deeply travelers are looking to dive into their ancestry, this type of travel can encompass a range of activities. Some of your clients may wish to venture into the archives of ancestry agencies. Others are satisfied with traditional sightseeing excursions. Oftentimes, travelers are simply looking to walk the streets where their great-grandparents once lived or visit the church their grandparents were married. Many people want to taste the local cuisine, visit famous monuments, and connect with distant relatives. Many of your clients may not know to ask about a heritage trip. If your client mentions a trip to the country from which their family comes, this is your opportunity to help them get in touch with their roots. Encourage them to spend a day researching their family history at a local archive office or visit the village where their ancestors once lived. Ancestry doesn't have to be the main focus of the journey. Sometimes a simple suggestion is all it takes to pique their interest. If you plan it right, you might make a client for life. Getting started. So where do you begin? The more your clients can do prior to the trip, the more productive it will be when they finally arrive. So here are some ways that you can help them get the ball rolling. Suggest that your clients begin by creating a family tree. DNA kits and research in a library or online are great ways to help with this. Once they've gotten the information they need, your clients can begin contacting relatives for specific information that may not be available publicly. Encourage your clients to inquire about the religion of their ancestors, since in countries like Ireland, different denominations maintained completely separate records. The final task is to fill in the gaps using census records, military enlistments, marriage certificates, obituaries, and even naturalization papers. Genealogy websites are an excellent resource available for a small fee. Again, the more your clients know in advance, the more meaningful the trip is likely to be. When it comes to transportation at your client's destination, we suggest a rental car. This gives them the flexibility to plan itineraries, take detours, and spend as much time as they need in any given spot. Have your clients look up the addresses of local historical societies, museums, archive buildings, public libraries, or living relatives before they leave. This way, they're ready to go once they arrive. And here's some tips for multi-generational heritage travel. Since many heritage journeys are also family vacations, your clients should aim to maximize the time they spend together. While researching our history is important, it should never come at the expense of the present. Here are a few things to consider. Encourage your clients to strike a balance between ancestry-related activities and general sightseeing experiences. Suggest that they center their morning on genealogy and keep the afternoons open for activities like cooking classes, local festivals, or outdoor adventures. Remind your clients that they can fit heritage travel into the scheme of a larger trip. For example, if they're on a cruise that stops in a city where their relatives once lived, your clients can take a short excursion to the sites important to their family. Consider the audience. If your clients are traveling with young children, they probably won't want to spend the bulk of their time in historical societies, archives, or cemeteries. Suggest that they visit a traditional restaurant to taste the food of their ancestors, or head to a park to take in the atmosphere. The locals can provide valuable insights into your client's homeland. Advise your clients to strike up conversations, ask questions, and make personal connections. Sample trips. So what might a heritage journey look like? Here are 2 sample trips to help your clients build a bridge to the past. So the first trip we'll talk about is Ireland. Did you know that 1 in every 9 Americans can trace their heritage back to Ireland? This is what an Irish ancestry trip might look like. After a pint at the pub and a walk through the cobblestone streets of James Joyce's Dublin, it'll be time to head further afield. This journey takes your clients to County Donegal, where quiet roads wind past some of the most awe-inspiring coastlines in the world. From there, it's on to Westport, where hiking, climbing, and water sports satisfy thrill seekers, and families can spend hours immersed in the flora and fauna found along the walking trails. A highlight of the adventure will be a trip to such iconic sites as the Cliffs of Moher, Bunratty Castle, and the Ring of Kerry. In between sightseeing, there will be plenty of time for genealogy research. We recommend your clients make a trip to the new Epic Museum in Dublin, where they can learn all about the Irish emigration, as well as enlist the help of a genealogy expert at the Irish Family Heritage Center who can assist in tracing their family history. If your clients choose to rent a car, they can explore the tucked-away hamlets where their family once lived. In towns like Adair and Shannon, they can visit Catholic parishes and gain access to county records. They can search for the names of relatives at cemeteries of local churches or look up marriage certificates in town halls. They can even print off their family crest as a perfect souvenir of their time in Ireland. Poland. Many travelers looking to connect with their Polish roots are tracing deeply personal stories that revolve around the Holocaust. The journey begins in Warsaw. Here, your clients can learn about the siege of Warsaw and the city's uprising, then venture to the fragments of the ghetto walls. In Krakow, your clients can visit Oskar Schindler's factory, where over 1,000 Jewish people were saved from deportation to concentration camps. A little more than an hour away is perhaps the most impactful experience of the journey, the Auschwitz concentration camp. To learn more, travelers can visit places central to their family's story, speak with living family members, or work with Yad Vashem, the Archive Center in Jerusalem. This center maintains an extensive database of names and attempts to document each of the 6 million Jewish people who perished during the Holocaust. These are just 2 examples of heritage journey. There are, of course, many others, and all depending on the heritage of your clients. There are museums and societies across Europe that can help your clients fill in the blanks. We've mentioned the Epic Museum in Ireland, but equally as enthralling is the Genealogy Museum in Germany. Hopefully, we've shown you that with a bit of planning and imagination, you can create a fulfilling ancestry trip for your clients. One final thought. It's easy for your clients to get their hopes up about finding a long-lost relative or discovering the beginnings of their adoption stories, but it's not always a fairy tale. It's important for your clients to understand that the trip is worthwhile even if they don't find everything they're looking for. That maybe simply hearing the language of their grandparents spoke, or tasting the food of their childhood is enough. In the end, what's important is their curiosity and the time they spend with loved ones along the way. We've talked a lot about great products and services today, so now it's time to learn how to book them. Here are 3 easy ways to get started on a booking. You can fill out one of our FIT or group custom quote request forms. Simply enter your client's city of departure, the cities they'd like to visit, and the length of their stay, etc. You'll hear back from one of our travel experts within 24 to 48 hours. You can also book online using our 24/7 award-winning online booking system. You'll also have access to a variety of resources like city guides, suggested itineraries, sightseeing flyers, and step-by-step tutorials for our website. And you can also call us. Our FIT specialists are knowledgeable, well-traveled, and best of all, available 7 days a week. Please note our groups department is available Monday through Friday. We also recommend subscribing to our newsletter to learn about webinars like this one, as well as new products and spam opportunities. What you see here are the amazing team of sales managers in charge of addressing all of your Europe Express needs. Your sales manager is here to answer questions, schedule office visits, and help solve any issues that may arise. And we're very fortunate and proud to partner with these consortia to help members across the country create incredible European vacations for their clients. Europe Express is also a proud member of USTOA, ASTA, and IATA. Here are the hours of operation and contact information for both our FIT and groups department. Please note that our groups department is closed on the weekend. And thank you very much. I don't know if we have any questions, Danielle.
Thank you, Rebecca. We do have quite a few questions coming in. The first question is, what constitutes as a group booking?
So a group is when you have 10 adults traveling together, you can choose to go to our groups department.
Great, thank you. Robert is wondering, since these trips will feature older travelers, typically maybe, do you offer travel for people who are handicapped or have mobility issues?
Well, all of our trips are going to be customized, so everything is completely customized from the ground up. So when you're planning your trip with one of our reservation specialists, this would be something that you would want to mention to make sure that we're putting you in hotels that are going to be ADA accessible and so forth. But definitely it's something that you want to mention in the planning process, as not all hotels and really even sightseeing options are, you're dealing with hotels that are maybe, if they're staying in a heritage type property, may or may not have an elevator, those type of things. So really good question.
Yeah, I would recommend too, just making sure you talk with your reservation agent when you are planning a trip with a wheelchair or any mobility issues, so that they can, search for hotels that do have elevators and can accommodate that. Question, Rebecca, from Linda. She's wondering, do you have any sightseeing tours available in Poland?
Yes, we do. If you go to our website and click under FIT Travel, you can go straight to our sightseeing page, and then you can search by country, and you can see all of the different sightseeing options that we would have for you.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sharon is wondering, can you hire a private guide to travel with you?
So, we can hire a tour escort. The only thing to keep in mind, and again, this is going to be dependent on your itinerary and maybe how many countries or cities that you're using, but some countries and cities require you to use their government-approved guides, or their guides have to go through different kinds of training depending on the country. So it's really going to depend on what your itinerary is, whether you would have to have your tour escort and a guide for that particular sightseeing that you're doing, or whether your tour escort could do the guiding as well. So again, very good question, and definitely something that when you're booking the trip, you want to talk with your reservation specialist to find out what are all the different options depending on where your guests are traveling. Hope that answers your question.
Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. Last question here is from Catherine. Catherine is wondering, are other hotels available to quote, even if it's not on our main list? So maybe if it's not in the booking engine, I'm assuming is what she's asking.
Yes,
Can we quote other hotels?
Yes, that's an excellent question. So again, we're going to have pretty much all of our preferred partners listed on our website. But if there is a hotel or a type of accommodation, I mean, it could be a castle or, something that you or your guests really want to offer, then yes, please call in and talk to one of our reservation specialists and inquire about that specific property on the specific dates that you want to travel. And we will do whatever we can to book that for you.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Rebecca. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. We do have a flyer attached to the GoToWebinar module. If you would like to download that, it kind of goes over all the points we made today about Ancestry travel and how to use it for your clients. Again, thank you, Rebecca, for the wonderful presentation. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Sorry I got my notes out of order there.
No, it happens. All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.